Greetings, and welcome to the NerdyActor Show review. My name is Ryan Oliveira, and today we will be reviewing Pokemon X and Pokemon Y. Pokemon X and Y have been out for a little over 2 weeks now, and people are going bananas for these titles. Why? Well, here are 3 reasons why I think Pokemon X and Y are selling so well. With Nintendo's newest handheld console being the Nintendo 3DS, and this being the 6th generation of Pokemon, it was quite obvious that Game Freak would design their next installment to the Pokemon franchise in 3D. Now I know by today's standards, 3D graphics are nothing, but with this being Pokemon, which has been sprite-based for the past 17 years, it's a huge step. And yes, 17 years. It makes us who were around for the release of Red and Blue feel a little old. Now the design of X and Y was done in a cel-shaded like style, so these Pokemon will be looking good for quite some time. Not to mention the lovable little monsters are fully animated. When they attack, they actually attack, and when they get hit, they react. And then the new Pokemon Me, you can grow seriously attached to your Pokemon because you can interact with them. The developers of X and Y made a real point in saying that a reoccurring theme in these games is beauty. Well, they aren't lying. When you play, you are introduced to breathtaking cutscenes, a vast world to explore, and of course, benches.
Yes! Game of the Year.
Stop. I know what you're thinking. Pokemon has had the same wash, rinse, repeat gameplay since Red and Blue 17 years ago. And yes, that's exactly the reason people have continued to buy the Pokemon games. Because it's familiar, it's what we know, and it's what we're comfortable with. If all of a sudden Game Freak decided to make the Pokemon series into a first-person shooter or a point-and-click adventure, it wouldn't be as fun. Now with that being said, there are some new features to the games that make things a bit more interesting. First being the feature I mentioned earlier, Pokemon Me. Pokemon Me is basically Nintendogs but with Pokemon, and it's the most fun and adorable thing ever. In Pokemon Me, you get to pet your Pokemon, feed your Pokemon, and play games with your Pokemon. The plus side to doing Pokemon Me is that you will raise the bond with your Pokemon. By increasing the bond, your Pokemon will start earning more experience per battle, land critical hits and evade attacks more easily, and even sometimes shake off status effects such as poison, paralysis, and even flinching. The only downside to this feature is that one of the games is a facial recognition game, which doesn't always work. And when it doesn't work, your Pokemon puts on a sad face, and let's be honest, no one wants to see a sad Pikachu. The other feature introduced in Pokemon X and Y is something called Super Training, ST for short. This is the developer's way of acknowledging EV training. These EVs give boosts to the stats HP, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. Now I won't go into full detail about EV training in this video because this is not an EV training tutorial video. Super Training, however, was introduced to make getting these EVs a little simpler. Basically what you do is pick a Pokemon you want to increase the stats of, pick a workout regimen, and play a minigame with said Pokemon. In the minigame, you shoot soccer balls at a giant robot balloon Pokemon. When you defeat it, you earn a certain amount of EVs and a punching bag to do what is known as core training. There are many types of punching bags to acquire. All you have to do is pick one that you've got and either start tapping the screen to help your Pokemon break the bag, or let it work out on its own while you explore the world. Yeah, that's right. I honestly think that the reason Pokemon X and Y have been selling so well is also due to the fact that it is Pokemon. Whether it's from nostalgia or love for the franchise, Pokemon will always be a top seller. I can't really explain why people love it so much, because there's so many different reasons to love the series. A lot of people I know say they want to try getting back into the Pokemon series because X and Y look so promising. But I really think that people who are trying to get back into Pokemon are doing it because, unlike previous Pokemon titles, Pokemon X and Y do not force change. Literally, the first wild Pokemon encounter is a Pidgey, a Generation 1 Pokemon. Not only that, but when you reach Lumio City, which is extremely early in the game, you are given a second starter Pokemon, and you can choose from Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle, the starter Pokemon from the original Red and Blue versions released in 1996. 17 years ago. And that's my show for today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you really like this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button below. If you're leery about that, here are a few links to my other videos. Also, I would like to thank Nate Wants to Battle for allowing me to use some of his content from his channel. And here's a link to go check him out right here. I highly recommend it. Thank you guys for watching. You've been a wonderful audience, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Bye. I just completed my first review. 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 I just completed my... Oh shit.